Welcome back to the Deep Dive. Today we're tackling a big one, a real challenge, but also an amazing experience. New York City. We're synthesizing a survival guide, basically.
That's right. Think essential English, key phrases, and maybe just as important, the cultural know-how you need. Because, let's face it, NYC is fast. Really fast.
And if English isn't your first language, or even if it is, but you don't know the local way of talking, it can be a bit much.
Yeah, exactly. Knowing just a few key things beforehand, it gives you confidence. It helps you feel less overwhelmed and more, in control.
So that's our mission. We've sifted through a bunch of sources, travel guides, local advice, real experiences to build a practical guide. We're hitting the big three: getting around, ordering food, and just general interactions.
We want you to feel ready, not thrown off balance when you arrive.
And we've got some, let's say, insider tips, too.
Yeah.
Like, we're definitely going to unpack the surprising truth about ordering a regular coffee in New York.
Oh, yeah. That one trips people up all the time. It's not what you probably think.
Okay, let's get into it. First hurdle. Getting from A to B, transportation and directions. How do you move around efficiently?
Okay, taxis and rideshares, speed and clarity are like everything. The basic phrase is simple. Take me to address, please. Easy enough.
But the meter, that came up again and again in our sources.
Crucial. You absolutely have to make sure that meter is running. If a driver suggests some random flat rate, especially from the airport, you need to push back politely but firmly.
What's a good phrase for that?
Something like, I'd prefer it if you use the meter, please. It just signals you know the deal. They usually won't argue after that.
Good tip. And addresses, you mentioned clarity. It's not just the street name, is it?
No, definitely not, especially in Manhattan with its grid. Just saying Bleecker Street isn't enough. It's a long street. You need the cross street.
Right.
So you say Bleecker and Mercer or 34th Street and 5th Avenue. Be specific. It avoids confusion, saves time, and honestly, the driver will appreciate it.
Makes sense. Okay, what about ride shares? Surge pricing is, well, it's a thing.
It really is, especially at peak times or bad weather. We found a couple of smart strategies, though. First, don't request the car right where everyone else is.
Like right outside the terminal or the super crowded theater?
Exactly. Walk maybe 2 or 3 blocks away from that immediate hotspot. Often, the price will drop because you stepped just outside that little high-demand bubble.
Smart. And the other tip?
Patience. Surge pricing can change really fast. If it seems crazy high, just wait 15, maybe 20 minutes, check the app again. You'll often see it come back down as that initial rush passes.
Okay, good workarounds. Now, the subway, the lifeblood of the city, right? But it can look pretty intimidating.
It can, but it's manageable once you understand the core directions, uptown and downtown.
Right, north and south.
Basically, yeah. Uptown always means north towards the Bronx, Harlem. Downtown always means south towards Wall Street, Brooklyn. Getting those straight is fundamental. Mixing them up means you're going the wrong way, wasting time.
And then there are different types of trains, right? Local and express.
Yes, and this is super important for efficiency. Local trains, well, they stop at every single stop along the line. Good if your destination is one of those smaller stations.
Okay.
Express trains skip a lot of the smaller stops. They only stop at major stations, so they cover long distances much, much faster.
So you really need to know which one to take for your specific stop.
Absolutely. Check the map. It's no good jumping on an express if it flies right past where you need to get off. And speaking of maps, get a good app.
Like City Mapper.
City Mapper is great, yeah.
Yeah.
Or the official MTA app. Download it before you go and make sure you can use the maps offline. Cell service underground is, well, it's unreliable.
Good point. What about just like basic subway manners? Etiquette.
Ah, yes. The unwritten rules, you'll hear the announcement constantly. Stand clear of the closing doors, please. Take it seriously. Those doors close fast.
And letting people off first.
Always. Let passengers exit the train before you try to board. It sounds obvious, but when it's crowded and everyone's rushing, people forget. It just jams everything up.
And the backpack thing.
Oh, the backpack rule. Yes. If the train is crowded, and it often is, take your backpack off your back. Hold it down in front of you or between your feet.
Why is that so important?
You take up way less space, and crucially, you won't accidentally whack someone every time you turn around.
Yeah.
It's just basic courtesy in a tight space.
Yeah.
Shows you get it.
Okay, solid subway advice. Before we move off transport, any free sightseeing gems?
Yes, absolutely. The Staten Island Ferry, it's completely free.
Free. Right.
Totally free. And it gives you these incredible views of the Statue of Liberty and the lower Manhattan skyline. Skip the expensive boat tours for this.
Wow. How do you navigate that?
Super simple. Just ask someone official looking, Is this the ferry to Staten Island, or what time does the next ferry leave? Easy peasy. Best bargain in NYC.
Love it. Okay, so we figured out how to get around. Let's talk about fueling up, section 2. Ordering food and decoding that deli lingo.
Right, and this requires a bit of a mental shift. New York ordering, especially at busy spots like delis or popular lunch counters, is fast.
Efficient is the word, I think.
Efficient, exactly. They've got lines that need to keep things moving. So the number one rule is know what you want before you get to the front of the line.
No hemming and hawing, as they say.
Definitely not. Don't stand there staring at the menu for 5 minutes while the counter person waits. Have your order ready. If it's a sandwich, know your bread, your fillings, everything.
Okay. Any key phrases to listen for?
You'll almost always be asked to stay or to go, meaning are you eating here or getting takeout?
Right, dine in or takeout.
Exactly. And for sandwiches, you'll hear terms like on a roll, which just means a standard bread roll, or you might hear hero.
Ah, the hero sandwich. That's the big one, right? Like a sub.
Precisely. It's just the local New York term for a long submarine sandwich, and if you need to ask a question, keep it quick. What's your most popular pastrami? Something like that. Shows interest, but respects the pace.
Okay, this brings us to the moment you teased earlier. The regular coffee.
The great regular coffee mystery. Okay, so you walk into a deli, a diner, maybe a coffee cart, and you ask for a regular coffee. What do you expect to get?
Normally that would mean just plain black coffee, right? No milk, no sugar.
That's what logic dictates. But in New York, typically a regular coffee means coffee with milk or cream and sugar.
Really? Milk NED sugar is the default for regular.
Yep. It's a kind of holdover from old school diner culture, I think. It's the standard way many people took their coffee back then, and the term just stuck.
Wow. Okay, that's genuinely essential information. So if I just want plain coffee.
You have to be specific. Ask for black coffee. Or say coffee, no milk, no sugar. If you just say regular, expect it light and sweet. That's the trap.
Trap avoided. Good to know. Beyond coffee, what are the must-try local foods?
Ooh, gotta start with pizza. New York slice. It's big, often thin crust, and yes, you should probably fold it in half lengthwise.
Why the fold?
It's partly structural engineering, helps manage the large, sometimes floppy slice, keeps the toppings from sliding off, especially if you're eating it on the go. It just works.
Makes sense. What else?
Bagels, you have to have a New York bagel. They're denser, chewier than bagels elsewhere. Something about the water, they say.
And the everything bagel.
That's the classic. It's like poppy seeds, sesame seeds, dried onion, dried garlic, salt. A real flavor bomb, usually with cream cheese, maybe lox.
Sounds intense.
Okay.
Anything else?
Pastrami on rye bread is iconic, especially from places like Katz's Deli. And New York cheesecake, it's denser, richer than other styles. Junior's probably the most famous spot for that.
My mouth is watering. Okay, quick logistics. Portions can be huge. What if you can't finish?
No shame in that at all. Just ask for a doggy bag. Totally normal term for taking leftovers home.
And for sit-down restaurants, especially popular ones.
Reservations are a good idea, particularly for dinner or weekend brunch. Use apps like Open Table or Resy. Just walking in during prime time can mean a long wait or, no table at all.
Got it. Okay, we've covered moving and eating. Let's shift to the third pillar. Cultural codes, tipping, and just, interacting with people.
Yeah, this is where understanding the vibe really helps. The New York communication style. It's famous, maybe infamous.
Direct, efficient, sometimes perceived as rude.
All of the above, maybe. But mostly it's just direct and efficient. People are busy, they value clarity, they get straight to the point. They generally don't beat around the bush. It's not usually meant to be rude, it's just fast.
So as a visitor, how should you adapt?
Be polite, but also be clear and maybe a little assertive yourself. Like on the subway, if you need to get off and it's crowded, don't just stand there hoping people will move.
What do you say?
A clear, firm, getting off here, or, coming through. People understand. They'll generally make space. Silence doesn't work as well.
And asking for things.
Always use polite framing. Could I have? Or may I please have? Never just bark an order like, give me a coffee. That will come across as rude.
What if you're lost?
A little self-awareness helps, starting with something like, excuse me, sorry to bother you, I'm a bit lost. Or even, I'm clearly not from around here. Could you possibly help me find? It kind of softens the approach. And then there's tipping. This is huge.
Yeah, our sources were really emphatic about this. It's not really optional, is it?
Not at all. Tipping is basically mandatory for service staff, waiters, bartenders, taxi drivers, hairdressers. Their base wages are often structured assuming they'll make significant income from tips.
So not tipping is a major faux pas.
It's considered very rude, yeah. It signals you are deeply unhappy with the service. The standard rate is generally 15% to 20% for decent service in restaurants or taxis.
And for bartenders?
Usually $1 or $2 per drink is standard, especially if you're just ordering at the bar.
Okay, critical point.
Yeah.
What about checking the bill?
Yes. Always, always check the bill, especially if you're in a group of, say, 6 or more. Restaurants often automatically add the gratuity or a service charge for larger parties.
So you don't want to tip on top of the included tip.
Exactly. Look for a line saying gratuity included or service charge near the total. It prevents accidental double tipping, which can be costly.
Good safety check.
Yeah.
All right, last bits, just navigating streets and shops day to day.
New York's a walking city, so first rule, comfortable shoes, seriously. Second, keep pace with the sidewalk flow. People walk fast.
And if you need to stop to look at a map or take a photo,
Step aside. Move out of the main flow of pedestrian traffic. Stopping dead in the middle of a busy sidewalk is a classic tourist mistake and mildly infuriating to locals.
okay. Bodegas, we hear that word a lot.
Ah, the bodega. Your local corner store. They're everywhere, usually small, often family-run. Great for a quick coffee, a snack, maybe a forgotten essential like toothpaste. They're lifesavers.
Is bargaining okay there?
No, definitely not. Prices are fixed at bodegas and regular shops. Bargaining is really only for specific places, like maybe some street vendors or flea markets, not your everyday store.
And souvenirs. Any advice beyond the obvious?
Yeah, try to avoid the really generic, overpriced stuff you find right in Times Square. For more unique, interesting souvenirs, maybe check out shops in Greenwich Village or Soho. Often better quality and more character.
Excellent. Okay, I feel like we've covered the main survival points.
I think so. You've got the language for transport and food, a sense of the pace, the tipping culture, the directness. It's a good start. And remember, most New Yorkers, even if they seem rushed, are actually pretty helpful if you approach them politely and, efficiently.
Right. Having this knowledge isn't just about avoiding awkwardness. It's about having better interactions, showing a bit of respect for the local way of doing things.
Absolutely. It opens doors. And okay, here's one final thought. Something maybe a bit more subtle to help you really blend in.
Ooh, okay. A final provocative thought. Lay it on us.
We've talked about the energy, the pace, but there's another deep-seated cultural thing in New York. Complaining.
Complaining?
Yeah. New Yorkers kind of love to complain
Yeah.
about the subway delays, the rent, the weather, the traffic. Anything, really. It's almost like a shared bonding ritual, acknowledging the struggle of living there.
Huh. Okay, so what's the takeaway for a visitor?
Your homework, if you will, is this. If you find yourself chatting with a local and they start complaining about something, the train being late, whatever, don't try to offer solutions. Don't try to fix it.
What do you do?
Just listen. Practice active, sympathetic listening, nod, maybe offer a quiet, ugh, yeah, or that sounds rough. Just acknowledging their complaint, sharing that little moment of shared city frustration.
That's the connection.
That's the connection. It's a surprisingly effective way to subtly show you kind of get it.
Yeah.
More than perfectly conjugated verbs sometimes. It's a real social lubricant.
That's fascinating. So embrace the shared complaint sympathetically.
Just a little bit. Don't overdo it. But yeah, now go forth, have an amazing adventure, and please remember to order your coffee black if that's what you want.
Great advice. Safe travels, everyone, and keep exploring. Welcome to the deep dive.
Oh,
So if you're getting ready for a trip to the U.S., maybe New York City specifically, or, maybe you just want to kind of shortcut your way past some of those common cultural hurdles that travelers face, well, this is definitely the deep dive for you.
yeah.
We've pulled together a whole stack of sources, really packed with practical tips, things to build your confidence,
Yeah.
and we're focusing on the specific language, the cultural stuff you actually need to know.
Exactly. And look, we're not just handing you a phrase book here.
Right.
The goal is more like giving you the system architecture behind the words so you understand why things are done differently here.
Okay.
Whether that's just grabbing a coffee or figuring out how to split a restaurant check, maybe even dealing with an emergency, God forbid.
Yeah.
It's really about being informed enough so you can actually relax and, enjoy the trip.
Okay, let's unpack this then.
Yeah.
Our mission here is, efficiency, really. We need to go beyond just basic dictionary definitions.
Right.
We want to nail down those essential terms, those cultural expectations that kind of make the U experience unique. Make sure you feel equipped, confident handling daily life. So we're starting with something that sounds simple, but maybe isn't. Buying everyday necessities.
Oh, that's a fantastic place to start. And honestly, often confusing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, if you're coming from a country where retail is pretty standardized, the mix of stores you find, especially in a place like New York, it can be baffling.
Right.
A traveler might see 3 different kinds of shops for like very similar things.
Okay, so picture this.
Yeah.
You're jet lagged, right?
Yeah.
You just need a quick bottle of water, maybe a coffee hit.
Yeah, these essentials.
Exactly.
Yeah.
What's the best bet that isn't some huge, overwhelming supermarket?
Okay, you are looking for the bodega.
Bodega. Got it.
Yeah, the classic corner store. And crucially, the sources really emphasize this. It's not just a shop. It's like a cultural institution in NYC. They're usually small, often family-run, and they're just designed for maximum convenience. Speed, basically.
And the whole experience is quick then. You go in, say what you need.
Super quick. That's the whole point. You walk in, state your order, the transaction is fast.
Okay.
If you want to kind of blend right in, the phrases are short, direct, I need a coffee and a water.
Simple.
Or maybe, the ultimate New York breakfast order. Bacon, egg, and cheese on a roll.
The BEC.
That's the one. The bodega is where you go for that instant gratification, that local flavor. You're in and out, probably less than 2 minutes.
Okay, so contrast that really efficient quick stop with the supermarket, like a Whole Foods or Trader Joe's.
Totally different beast. That's for your big shop, your weekly groceries, fresh produce, lots of variety.
Yeah.
You'd never just pop into a supermarket for 1 can of soda. You'd probably face long lines, a confusing layout. It's just not built for a simple grab and go.
Okay, makes sense.
Now, here's where it gets really interesting, especially for international visitors. The U.S. pharmacy model.
Yes. CVS, Walgreens.
Exactly. Those big chains, they are a completely different animal compared to pharmacies in many other countries.
How so?
Well, in lots of places, a pharmacy is, pretty much solely for dispensing medicine, maybe some health advice from the pharmacist.
Right. Focused.
Very focused. But here, you could walk into a CVS for your prescription.
Yeah.
And you could easily walk out with like a 6-pack of beer, a new phone charger, maybe some birthday cards.
And snacks. Always snacks. It's like retail anarchy.
It kind of is. And the sources point out this is really a result of U.S. retail consolidation over the years. The U.S. pharmacy has become this literal one-stop shop. So if you just need simple over-the-counter stuff like painkillers or cold medicine, you don't usually need to talk to a pharmacist behind the counter first.
Oh, right. You just grab it off the shelf.
Exactly. You just head to the aisle. But that means the aisles are packed with everything, snacks, makeup, stationery, sometimes even photo printing. So knowing a simple phrase like, excuse me, where can I find pain relief items? Or do you have anything for a headache? That's pretty essential just to cut through the clutter.
Okay, so bottom line, if
Yeah.
I need simple things, toothbrush, ibuprofen, that sort of stuff, the pharmacy is actually just as easy as a bodega, maybe.
Pretty much, yeah. But with way more options.
It's just like weirder neighbors on the shelves.
Exactly. It solves a lot of problems for travelers once you realize it's designed as this kind of hybrid convenience store, really.
All right, let's transition now from the stress of figuring out where to buy toothpaste to a whole different kind of anxiety. The money dance when you're eating out with friends.
Yes. The bill.
Tipping, paying the bill.
Yeah.
This can be a huge source of confusion, right? Especially for travelers.
Oh, absolutely. It can be kind of paralyzing sometimes because it involves, social etiquette, quick math, financial pressure, all hitting at once. Now, if you feel generous and you want to pay for the whole meal, which is a very kind gesture, the phrases are pretty simple. I'll get this. Or maybe it's on me.
Okay, that's the easy part covered.
That's the easy bit, yeah.
The harder part is when everyone wants to pay their own share. Now, unlike in some places, maybe Europe or Asia, where splitting the bill is just routine, here, you have to specifically ask the server, right?
Yes. That is the key cultural distinction. You absolutely must ask proactively.
Okay.
And the sources recommend being very clear about it. Something like, could we split the check, please? Or could we possibly have separate checks?
Direct but polite.
Exactly. The New York way, you could say. Direct but polite. And you have to understand, this does create extra work for a busy server.
True.
So asking before you even order, or at least before the food arrives, that's always, always preferred, especially in really busy places. They might just say no if you ask too late.
Okay, good tip. Ask early, but what if you forget? Or, you you're in some crowded sports bar where the server just physically cannot do separate checks for a big group.
Right, that happens.
That's when the modern high-speed payment solution kicks in, I guess.
That is exactly when apps like Venmo become absolutely indispensable.
Ah, Venmo. Okay, explain that quickly.
Sure. Venmo is basically a peer-to-peer payment app, super common in the US.
Right.
So if the server only brings one bill for the whole table, one person will usually just pay the full amount on their card.
Okay.
Then everyone else at the table immediately figures out their exact share, and this is crucial, including tax and the tip, which is usually expected to be around 18 to 20%.
Right, can't forget the tip.
Never forget the tip.
Yeah.
And they use Venmo to send that money instantly to the person who paid, right there at the table.
Wow, okay, so Venmo isn't just about splitting the cost, it's also about handling that tipping pressure immediately.
Precisely.
You can figure out, okay, my meal was, say, $35 plus 20% tip is $7, so I'm sending $42 right now. Done.
Exactly. It's instant accountability. And honestly, if you're traveling with American friends, this is pretty much the default mechanism now.
Good to know.
Yeah, so if you don't have Venmo set up before your trip, make sure you have small bills, like cash, ready to hand over immediately to whoever covers the bill, because that expectation of settling up right away, it's strong.
Got it. So the cultural takeaway here seems to be speed and precision are key, even in social money stuff.
Yep.
Be direct, be polite, calculate accurately, and maybe have your Venmo app ready to go.
You got it.
Okay. Now, let's pivot again. We've done necessities, we've done social rules.
Yeah.
Let's talk about cultural participation.
Fun stuff.
Yeah. You're in NYC, maybe you want to catch a baseball game.
Yeah.
Yankees or Mets, right? Such a classic cultural ritual.
Absolutely.
But the language, the whole stadium experience,
Yeah.
it feels like its own little world.
It really is. And look, it's a quintessential American cultural experience, even if you've never watched a single pitch in your life. The atmosphere alone is like half the fun. But knowing a bit of the vocabulary definitely helps you not miss out on the staples.
Like getting the proper stadium food right. We need the right words for those food stalls.
Okay, those are called concession stands. Or just concessions.
Concessions, not food vendors or something.
God, usually no. You'd ask, excuse me, where are the concessions?
I got it.
And look, for true cultural immersion, a mandatory order is a hot dog and a beer. It just is.
Okay, checking that box.
And you'll probably hear vendors walking through the aisles shouting that classic line, get your hot dogs here, hot dogs.
Nice. And for seating, if we want that, fun, maybe slightly rowdy, budget-friendly experience, where do we sit?
You are definitely looking for the bleacher.
So bleachers, okay.
These are usually the bench-style seats, typically way out in the outfield.
Cheaper sheet.
Generally the cheapest tickets, yeah. But maybe more importantly, they're known for having the, let's say, liveliest crowds, the most dedicated fans, often the most fun.
Yeah.
If you want that kind of party atmosphere, the bleachers are where it's at.
Okay, that sounds like the ultimate traveler aha moment. You're not just watching a game passively.
Right.
You're sort of participating in this deep cultural tradition. Like, what's that thing they do mid-game? The stretch.
Ooh, the legendary seventh inning stretch. Yes.
Tell me about that.
It's fantastic. Doesn't matter how tense the game is, what the score is. Right in the middle of the seventh inning, everything stops.
Everything.
The whole stadium, thousands of people, stands up, stretches their arms, and sings, "Take me out to the ball game."
Wow. The whole stadium sings.
Pretty much. It's this amazing moment of just collective pause, shared ritual. It's really quite something.
So, advice for a traveler.
Simple. When the music starts playing, just stand up with everyone else. Hum along, sing if you know the words. Just follow the crowd. It's a key part of the whole experience. Okay, let's switch gears pretty dramatically now. We need to cover the most critical topic in our sources, really. How to handle emergencies, and non-emergencies too.
Right. Super important.
This is vital preparation for any traveler anywhere.
Absolutely. Safety first. So let's lock in the essential emergency number in the U.S. What is it?
Okay, the emergency number across the entire U.S. is universally 911.
911. Got it.
That's the single number for police, for fire, and for medical emergencies, like needing an ambulance.
Okay.
And we really have to stress this. It is only for immediate, like life-threatening situations, when seconds genuinely count.
Right. Not for asking directions or reporting a lost wallet.
Definitely not. Only for true emergencies.
So when you call 911, the operator is trained to get specific information very quickly, right? What should a traveler be prepared to say?
Okay, they will usually answer very directly, something like 911, what's your emergency?
Right.
And the single most important piece of information you need to communicate sometimes, even before you fully explain the problem, is your location.
Location first. Why is that so crucial?
Because they need to know where to send help immediately. You have to be as precise as possible. I need police at the corner of 5th Avenue and 42nd Street. Or I'm inside the lobby of 123 Main Street.
Okay. Be specific.
Very specific. The sources highlight that, sometimes cell phone GPS data isn't perfectly accurate, especially indoors or in dense cities. So stating your location clearly is paramount. Stay as calm as you can, state the service you need, police, fire, or ambulance, and give that precise location.
Okay. Location. Got it. Hopefully you never, ever have to dial 911.
Hopefully not.
But let's look at the much more common scenario, probably. You're feeling unwell. Maybe you twisted an ankle, but it's clearly not a severe life or death emergency.
Right. Happens all the time.
This is where travelers often get tripped up, isn't it? Especially thinking about medical costs in the U.S.
Massively. This is a key financial and logistical distinction you need to understand before something happens.
Okay.
If you have, say, a really bad flu, maybe you think you broke a finger or you have a high fever, something that definitely needs medical attention but isn't immediately life-threatening, the term you need to know is urgent care center.
Urgent care, not the emergency room.
Correct. Urgent care center.
So why is choosing urgent care over the hospital emergency room, ER, such a critical difference for a traveler?
Okay, two main reasons. Time and, frankly, a lot of money.
Right.
Urgent care centers are specifically set up to handle these non-severe issues. You'll still have to wait, maybe an hour or so, but the cost will be much more manageable. Perhaps, a few $100s depending on your insurance or travel insurance.
Okay.
Manageable. But if you go to a hospital emergency room, ER, with those same symptoms, bad flu, possible broken finger first, you will wait for hours because they have to prioritize genuine critical emergencies.
Makes sense.
And second, the bill you get afterwards for that non-severe visit to an ER can easily run into the thousands of dollars. Easily.
Wow. Okay. That's a huge difference.
It's enormous.
Yeah.
So the advice is clear. If the situation is not life-threatening, always search urgent care near me on your phone first. That simple piece of knowledge could save you a massive amount of hassle, time, and money.
Okay. That is incredibly useful advice.
Yeah.
So let's try and wrap this up. What does this all mean? We've covered a ton of ground here, really trying to help you feel more prepared for daily life in NYC or the U.S. more broadly.
Yeah, we have.
We define that sort of efficient, quick culture of the bodega versus the slightly chaotic, maybe one-stop shop nature of the pharmacy.
And we tackled that stressful moment of paying the bill, right? Detailing the direct New York way you need to ask to split a check.
Right. Ask early.
Ask early, and the absolute necessity, really, of using apps like Venmo to manage calculating the tax, and that required, 18, 20% tip right there in real time.
Yeah, takes the pressure off. And maybe most critically, we established that vital distinction between calling 911 for genuine life-threatening emergencies
Only.
and the far more sensible and affordable option of finding an urgent care center for those non-severe medical issues.
Exactly. And the ultimate goal here, really, is just to help you trade that kind of information anxiety for confident enjoyment.
Yeah.
Knowing the vocabulary, understanding the logistics, it just helps you relax fully into the trip,
Absolutely.
And if we kind of connect this back to the bigger picture, every little piece of vocabulary we've talked about, from ordering a bacon, egg, and cheese
BEC.
to knowing what the bleachers are at a ball game,
Yeah.
each one is like a little key unlocking deeper cultural interaction.
That's a nice way to put it.
So since we've covered some of those nuances like dining etiquette and the fun of the baseball experience, maybe this raises an interesting question for you, the listener, to think about. How might actively using these specific cultural phrases, maybe for ordering local food or participating at a sporting event, how might that not only make your transactions smoother, but actually fundamentally change how locals perceive you, how they interact with you, and just how much deeper could that cultural immersion actually go? Welcome to the Deep Dive. Today, we're digging into something specific, taking all that great travel planning you do and making sure it actually works, like confidently, when you arrive.
Exactly. That gap, isn't it, between the neat itinerary and the messy reality on the ground.
Yeah, we're focusing on those kind of overlooked bits, the practical things like weather confusion, or even social stuff like how do you start a conversation, or maybe how do you complain politely if something's wrong at the hotel.
Right. The goal here is to pull out that really useful stuff that saves you time, maybe saves you some embarrassment.
We want you to walk away from this feeling, genuinely prepared, not just knowing where to go, but how to navigate it all without feeling completely lost or overwhelmed.
Okay, so where should we start? Maybe the most immediate thing when you land. The physical environment, like the weather.
Oh, definitely. The weather forecast. If you're coming from somewhere that uses Celsius, seeing temperatures in Fahrenheit can be genuinely confusing, like 75 degrees. Is that boiling? Freezing? What do I wear?
It's a classic problem. But there's some easy rules of thumb. We found these are pretty reliable for just getting a quick sense without needing your phone constantly.
Okay, lay them on us.
Right, so think of 75 degrees Fahrenheit as your benchmark. That's about 24 Celsius. Pretty much perfect t-shirt weather, really pleasant.
75 is good. Okay, what about cooler?
60 Fahrenheit. That's your signal for needing a light jacket or a sweater. It's around 15 Celsius. Anything much below 60, you're definitely layering up.
Got it. And on the other end, heat waves.
Yeah, if you see 90 Fahrenheit or higher, that's over 32 Celsius. That's properly hot. You need to think about hydration, maybe changing plans to avoid the midday sun, that kind of thing.
And I've definitely made the mistake of seeing like 78 or 80 Fahrenheit and thinking, oh, that sounds okay. But then you step outside and bam, the humidity hits you.
Yes, the secret killer. It's often not just the number, is it? Especially on the East Coast in summer, people will say it's muggy or sticky out.
And that changes everything. Suddenly 80 feels like 95. You need way more water.
Absolutely. Which leads directly to the golden rule of dressing for U.S. travel, particularly in cities.
Layers. Always layers.
Always. The weather can shift fast, yes, but the big thing is the difference between outside and inside. That air conditioning.
Oh, the AC. It can be absolutely freezing indoors, even on a boiling hot day. You walk into a shop or a museum and it's like stepping into a fridge.
So that light jacket or sweater you can easily take off and put on. Non-negotiable.
Okay, so temperature, humidity, layers. Got it. What about basic survival? Keeping our phones charged. Plugs.
Right. If you're coming from the UK, for example, your plugs just won't fit. They're completely different.
Yeah, US uses those flat pins, type A and type B, I think. And the voltage is different too, right? 120 volts?
That's correct. Type A has 2 flat parallel pins. Type B adds a round grounding pin. And it's 120 volts, so you absolutely need a physical travel adapter. But there's a really important distinction people miss.
Okay.
The difference between an adapter and a converter. This is crucial.
Ah, right. So the adapter just makes the plug fit the socket, but it doesn't change the electricity.
Exactly. Most modern electronics, phone chargers, laptop chargers, are dual voltage. Look on the plug or the power brick. It'll usually say input, 100 240V. If it says that, you're fine. Just use the adapter.
But what if it doesn't? Like maybe an older hairdryer or something? If it only says 220 240V.
Then you cannot just use an adapter.
Yeah.
Plugging a 240V only device into a 120V socket with just an adapter might, best case, just not work well. Worst case, you could damage the device, blow a fuse, maybe even start a fire.
Okay, that's serious. So for those devices, you need a voltage converter, which is usually a heavier, more expensive thing.
Correct. A converter actually steps the voltage down. Honestly, for things like hair dryers, it's often easier just to buy a cheap travel one when you arrive or check if your hotel has one. Converters are bulky.
Good tip. But for most people's phones and laptops, the adapter is key. And if you forget yours and need to buy one, what's the phrase?
Just keep it simple. Go into an electronics store or even a pharmacy and say, I need a UK to US power adapter. Or whichever country you're coming from. Focus on the countries. They'll know the plug types.
Perfect. Okay, so we've got the physical environment kind of sorted. Power, temperature. Let's shift to the social side. This can be just as tricky, right? Especially if you're a bit shy.
It really can. Just starting a simple conversation in a busy place can feel, well, daunting. But it's honestly the best way to practice your English and get a real feel for the place.
So how do you break the ice without feeling awkward? We found a couple of really good low-pressure techniques.
The first one is the genuine compliment, but the key is specificity.
Right, not just nice shoes. That feels a bit weird.
Exactly. Make it about something specific they chose or have, like if you're getting coffee and the barista has a cool pin on their apron. Hey, I really like your pin. That's cool. Where'd you get it? It's specific, it's brief, and if they don't want to chat, the interaction ends naturally.
And the other super safe one, pets.
Oh, absolutely. People love talking about their pets, especially dogs.
Yeah.
If someone's walking a cute dog, just a simple, "Oh, your dog is so cute. What breed is it?" That's almost always a welcome opening. Very low risk.
I like that. Low risk is good. The second technique was about using the shared environment, right?
Yeah, this is great because you're not putting the focus directly on the person. You're commenting on something you're both experiencing. Think museums, galleries, maybe waiting in line for something.
So instead of commenting on them, you comment on the thing.
Precisely. Like standing in front of a painting. Wow, this piece is really striking, isn't it? Or maybe, I'm trying to figure out what the artist is getting at here. What do you think? It's an invitation to connect over the shared interest, not a demand for their attention.
Okay, that feels less intrusive, but what if they respond? How do you keep it going for, like, a moment without it dying awkwardly?
Keep the focus outward. If they offer an opinion, ask a follow-up question about that. "Oh, that's interesting you see it that way. What makes you say that?" Let them lead a little. It takes the pressure off you.
Makes sense. And all this depends on reading the room, knowing when not to talk to someone.
Hugely important. The obvious signs are universal, like headphones in, deeply engrossed in a book on the subway. Don't interrupt that. Respect the personal bubble, especially in crowded city environments.
But sometimes a shared situation almost invites a comment, doesn't it? Like if you're stuck in a massive queue for a Broadway show.
Exactly. That shared experience, maybe a bit of shared suffering, breaks down barriers. A simple, "Wow, this line is huge. It must be a great show, huh?" Can be a really welcome bit of connection. You're acknowledging the shared reality.
Okay, so initiating contact. What about when things go wrong? You need to talk to someone not for fun, but because there's a problem. Hotel issues. The Wi-Fi's down, the AC's broken.
Ah, yes, the dreaded hotel complaint. You need to be polite, but also firm enough to get it resolved. We found a pretty solid 4-step process for this.
4 steps. Okay, step 1.
Always start the call to the front desk by stating your room number immediately. "Hi, this is your name calling from room 515. Don't launch into the problem first. They need to know who and where you are.
Right. Identifies you straight away. Okay, step 2.
This is the soft statement. State the issue, but use slightly softer, less accusatory language initially. Instead of, "Your Wi-Fi is broken." "Hi, I seem to be having some trouble connecting to the Wi-Fi in my room." Or, "The air conditioning doesn't seem to be working."
Okay. But is there a risk that sounds too weak? Like they might just think I'm doing something wrong, especially in a busy place. Wouldn't being more direct save time?
That's a really fair point. And sometimes, maybe. But the strategy behind the soft start is about tone. It presents you as reasonable and calm from the outset. It makes the staff less defensive. If they do brush you off, you can then be firmer in the follow-up, having already established yourself as patient.
Okay, I see the logic. Strategic patience. So what if you make the soft statement and they say, "Okay, we'll look into it," and nothing happens for an hour or 2? Step 3.
The follow-up call. Maintain the calm tone. Call back and say, "Hi, it's Name from room 515 again. I called about an hour ago regarding the problem, e.g. air conditioning, and I was just wondering if there's an update on that." Remind them you've already reported it.
Okay, polite persistence. But what if you still get nowhere? Or the problem is really impacting your stay? Is there a final step?
Yes. Step 4 is the polite escalation. Use this when necessary, but it's usually very effective. "Could I please speak to a manager?"
The magic phrase.
Pretty much. It signals you've tried the standard channels and now need someone with more authority, possibly to discuss compensation or ensure immediate action. Use it calmly and firmly after steps 1 to 3 haven't worked.
That's a really practical sequence. Good to have in your back pocket. Okay, let's completely switch gears. Geography. Everyone knows Manhattan, right?
Yeah.
The skyscrapers, Times Square. But we really need to talk about Brooklyn.
Absolutely essential. If you only see Manhattan, you're missing a huge part of what makes New York, New York. Manhattan is the intense business and tourist hub. Brooklyn, that's largely where New Yorkers live. The whole vibe is different.
How would you describe that vibe difference?
It's generally more laid back, more residential, definitely more creative in many areas. Less frantic than Midtown Manhattan. It feels more like a collection of distinct neighborhoods.
And if you're going to explore what's a good starting point, we found a tip about the Brooklyn Bridge.
Yes, walk the bridge from Brooklyn towards Manhattan. That way you have that incredible, iconic skyline view constantly getting closer in front of you. If you walk the other way, it's all behind you.
Smart. And right near the bridge on the Brooklyn side is DUMBO, right? I don't know that acronym.
Definitely. Down under the Manhattan Bridge overpass. Cobblestone streets, great views, and that famous photo spot on Washington Street where the Manhattan Bridge frames the Empire State Building perfectly.
Classic shot. And then moving away from the waterfront, you get into areas known for brownstones. That's a key word, isn't it?
Huge key word. A brownstone is that classic, beautiful row house, usually faced with brown sandstone. You see rows and rows of them in gorgeous, leafy neighborhoods like Brooklyn Heights and Park Slope. Very picturesque, much slower pace.
Okay, so DUMBO, brownstone neighborhoods. What about somewhere like Williamsburg? That has a different reputation again.
Very different. Williamsburg is often associated with hipster culture. Think trendy boutiques, lots of cool cafes and bars, amazing street art, maybe a slightly younger, more energetic crowd, especially near the L train stops.
And you see the word artisanal everywhere in Brooklyn, don't you? Artisanal coffee, artisanal cheese, artisanal everything. What does that actually signify there?
Yeah, it's used a lot. While it technically means made by hand or by skilled craftspeople, in the Brooklyn context, it also signals something about the ethos. Small batch, maybe traditional methods, often locally sourced, and usually, let's be honest, a higher price point. It's part of the local identity, that focus on craft.
Right, it's a cultural marker as much as a definition. And if you want to experience that food culture concentrated in one place.
Oh, you have to check out Smorgasburg if you're there on a weekend. It's this massive outdoor food market. Dozens and dozens of local vendors selling incredible, creative food. It's a fantastic way to sample the Brooklyn food scene.
Sounds amazing. So Brooklyn gives you that essential other side of the coin, the residential, maybe more real New York.
I think so. It shows you where people build their lives, not just where they work or visit as tourists. It adds necessary depth to understanding the city.
Okay, wow. We've covered a lot. From decoding Fahrenheit and figuring out adapters versus converters.
To specific ways to start a chat without feeling awkward, and even that step-by-step plan for tackling hotel problems.
Yeah, hopefully you feel a bit more armed now, not just with places to go, but with the actual tactics for handling those little moments of friction or uncertainty.
That's the idea, shifting the mindset a bit.
Absolutely. So wrapping up, maybe the thought to leave you with is, don't be afraid of those small stumbles, fumbling the temperature conversion, needing to ask for help with directions, even having to escalate that hotel issue. It's all part of it. It's part of the adventure, part of the learning.
Yeah, definitely. And maybe a final challenge for you. Next time you're traveling, don't just think, what sites do I need to see? Ask yourself, what's one small, specific, local interaction I can try today that pushes my comfort zone just a tiny bit?
Go try that compliment or ask about that dog. See what happens. Until next time on The Deep Dive.
Welcome back to The Deep Dive. Today, we are tackling a big one, New York City, specifically kind of the hidden language in the place. For anyone planning a visit, you realize pretty fast that the city runs on these like unwritten rules. It's a whole local operating manual.
It really is.
And if you don't have it, even simple things can become, well, frustrating.
That's true. New York isn't just huge. It's intense, very efficient, but also demanding. We've looked at this guide that really digs into the practical side, the money stuff, the social cues, the sort of survival rules locals just absorb.
Right. So our mission today is to get you past just seeing the big sites. We want to hand you the toolkit for really navigating the city's pulse.
Yeah.
To, get rid of that background hum of anxiety, worrying you'll break some rule you didn't even know existed.
Yeah.
Turn that into confidence.
Exactly. Because the gap between just being a tourist and actually connecting with the city, it often comes down to understanding that specific rhythm. When you get a handle on these money norms, these social thing, you really gain access. We're trying to prep you to step into that flow. It can feel like chaos sometimes.
Organized chaos, they call it. Right?
Organized chaos. But underneath, it's actually a remarkably efficient system.
Okay, let's dive in where most travel worries start.
Yeah.
Money. With everything going digital, is New York still a cash city? Or is it true cards basically rule?
Well, New York and the U.S. overall is heavily card-friendly, very much so. Credit cards, debit cards, phone payments, they're accepted almost everywhere. Restaurants, shops, taxis, museums, pretty much anywhere you'd spend money.
Okay.
But what's interesting, and the source highlights this, is that it's gone even further. Some places are now actually cashless.
Wait, cashless? Like they only take cards?
Plastic only.
Huh. So if I'm visiting internationally, and maybe I prefer carrying cash for security, I could actually be blocked from buying something, even something small.
It sounds odd for a big global city, doesn't it? But yeah, that's the reality in some spots, which is why the financial prep is so important.
Okay, so what prep are we talking about?
If you're coming from abroad, 2 absolute must-dos. First, tell your bank. Notify them about your travel dates where you're going.
Right.
If you skip that, their fraud system sees weird New York charges, and boom, your account gets frozen.
Yeah, been there. Total trip ruiner. Stranded with no money. Awful. What's number 2 for international folks?
You need to ask your bank very directly about foreign transaction fees. This isn't just a one-off charge.
No.
No, it's usually a percentage, often, 2 or 3%. And it gets added to every single purchase you make with that card outside your home country.
Wow. So every coffee, every Metro card swipe, every souvenir?
Exactly. Those little fees seem tiny, but they stack up incredibly fast. Over just a weekend trip, that could easily be $50 or more just gone. Extra costs you didn't even budget for.
Okay, so cards are dominant, but we need to be smart about them. Does that mean we can ditch cash completely? Or are there still times when cash is essential?
Oh, you definitely still need some cash. It's king for certain things.
Like,
Think small, quick interactions. Buying something from a street vendor, grabbing a bottle of water at a bodega, the little corner stores, and tipping. Definitely tipping. Hotel staff, maybe street performers if you enjoyed their act. Small bills are crucial there.
makes sense.
And the sources also points out lots of smaller shops to kind of avoid card processing fees on tiny sales. They have a minimum purchase for cards, maybe $10, $15.
Ah, right. So if you just want that $2 coffee.
You need cash. Otherwise, you're either buying stuff you don't need or going without.
Okay, that's clear. Cash to the microeconomy. Now, ATMs, they're everywhere, right? Banks, sure, but also inside bodegas, pharmacies. What's the catch? The fee danger.
Okay, this is where knowing the system saves you actual money. If you use an ATM that's not part of your own bank's network, you often get hit with fees twice.
Twice? How?
First, the ATM owner, whether it's a big bank or the corner store, charges you an out-of-network fee, often $3, maybe $4, just for using their machine. Then, your own bank back home might charge you another fee for using an ATM outside their network, especially internationally.
Ouch. So let's say I need cash 5 times on a 4-day trip.
Yeah.
If I get hit with, say, $8 in fees each time, that's $40 just vanished.
Exactly right. It hurts. So the practical strategy here is pretty straightforward.
How's that?
Be strategic. Don't just grab $20 whenever you run low. Try to find an ATM from a large, maybe international bank you recognize, and then take out a larger amount in one go. Enough to last you a while.
Right. Fewer transactions means fewer fees.
Precisely. It minimizes your exposure. It's about spending smart, not just, spending less overall.
Okay, getting the money side right definitely builds confidence, but what can that money get us access to, maybe beyond the obvious tourist trail? Let's shift gears to local entertainment.
Yeah, this is where you can really tap into the city's cultural pulse. Broadway is amazing, obviously, but it's often really expensive.
Prohibitively so sometimes.
Right. So we need to look at the alternatives. The sources really emphasize off-Broadway. These are still professional shows, often really creative, but they're in smaller theaters.
And cheaper.
Almost always cheaper, yeah. And sometimes more experimental, which can be really exciting. It's high-quality stuff, just more accessible.
And if you want to go even more, like grassroots, see the next big thing, maybe.
Then you're looking at off-Broadway. That's the real incubator. Super small venues, very avant-garde work sometimes, totally new stuff.
Okay.
It's where you find up-and-coming writers, directors, actors cutting their teeth. Tickets can be incredibly cheap, maybe $20 sometimes. You get that feeling of discovery.
Nice. Speaking of discovery and raw talent, let's talk comedy. Greenwich Village, legendary for stand-up. If you walk into a famous place like the Comedy Cellar, what are the rules of engagement?
Okay, rule number 1, and it's a big one. The 2-drink minimum. Most people have heard of it, but maybe don't fully grasp why it's there or how strict it is.
Right, and we should clarify, it doesn't have to be alcoholic drinks, right?
Yeah.
Sodas, juice, water count.
Correct. Any 2 beverages per person. But let's talk about why it's so non-negotiable.
Okay, the business side.
It's fundamental to how these clubs operate. Ticket prices, they often just cover the comedian's basic pay, maybe help with rent.
Really? That low?
Often, yeah. The actual profit, the money that keeps the lights on, pays the staff, supports the whole scene. That comes almost entirely from selling drinks. That minimum isn't just a suggestion. It's the club's economic engine.
Wow. Okay, understanding that helps you respect the rule, not just see it as an annoyance. You're not just buying drinks, you're basically funding the venue.
Exactly. You don't want the shock of getting a $30 bill for 2 sodas because you didn't factor it in.
Good point. And the second rule for comedy club,
Oh, yeah.
probably even more critical.
Absolutely critical. Keep quiet. Do not heckle the comedians. Ever.
Don't try to be part of the show.
You are not part of the show. You're the audience. Heckling will get you kicked out immediately. No warnings.
Noted. Loud and clear. Okay, moving from comedy to music. If I'm looking for live music jazz in the village, maybe indie rock somewhere else, what's the key question I need to ask before I settle in?
You need to ask, is there a cover charge?
The cover charge. That's the entry fee.
Yep. Paid right at the door, usually. You absolutely need to know this up front.
Why up front specifically?
Because imagine walking in, finding a table, ordering drinks, and then finding out it's, say, $20 per person just to stay and listen to the band. You're already committed. You've already spent money on drinks.
Okay. So knowing the cover charge helps you budget the whole night properly.
Exactly. Avoids nasty surprises.
All right. These phrases, the money rules, super helpful for the wallet. But now let's get into the physics of moving through a city packed with 8 million people. Let's decode that social rhythm, starting with just walking down the street.
Okay, the sidewalk. Best way to think about it. Not just a path. It's a high-speed conveyor belt.
Oh.
The analogy that works best is a highway. Simple rule. Slower traffic keeps right. If you're walking slowly, sightseeing, whatever, stay to the right.
This isn't just politeness, is it? It's functional.
Absolutely functional. It's about throughput, keeping the whole system moving.
So here's the classic tourist moment.
Yeah.
You see something amazing, a building, whatever. You want to stop, check your phone map, take a picture. Can you just stop? Freeze right there.
No, please don't. That's probably the biggest sidewalk sin in New York.
Okay. Why so serious?
Stopping dead in the middle of the flow, it creates an instant bottleneck, a traffic jam. It backs people up behind you immediately. If you need to stop for any reason, you absolutely must pull over.
Pull over like a car.
Exactly like a car. Move completely out of the main flow. Get up against a building wall, step into a doorway alcove beside a newsstand. Just get out of the stream.
It sounds almost intense, but I guess it's necessary to keep things moving.
It's a necessary courtesy, yeah. Keeps the whole machine from grinding to a halt.
Okay.
Yeah.
And what about personal space in a place that crowded?
Yeah, the New York personal bubble is, let's say, significantly smaller than elsewhere. It might be non-existent sometimes.
So bumping into people is just going to happen.
It's inevitable. Constant, really. You'll brush shoulders, get jostled on the subway, maybe even a light nudge if you're blocking the way.
So when that happens, that accidental bump, how should you react? A big dramatic apology.
Definitely not. Keep it quick. Keep it low-key. A simple, excuse me, or maybe, sorry, muttered quickly is all that's needed. If even that.
Don't make a big deal out of it.
Right. The unspoken agreement is that nobody takes it personally. Everyone's just trying to get somewhere. We're all in that state of, whoa.
Organized chaos.
There it is again. Organized chaos. Everyone's focused on their own path. The fastest, least disruptive interaction is the best one.
Okay, that phrase really does seem to capture it. The intensity, but also the underlying efficiency. So we've covered everything from hidden bank fees to how to stand still on a sidewalk. What's the big takeaway here? The synthesis for someone listening.
I think the synthesis is this. All these rules, these tips, the cover charge, the 2-drink minimum, pulling over on the sidewalk, they aren't meant to scare you. They're not a test you have to pass.
They're tools.
They're a toolkit, exactly. They give you a kind of foundational confidence. When you know the basic rules of the road, you stop worrying so much about the mechanics.
And you can actually focus on the experience itself.
Precisely. You free up your mental energy.
And the single most important piece of advice, really, pulling from all this, it seems to be, be curious, not fearful.
That's the heart of it, yeah. The real joy of traveling, of learning about a place, comes when you feel secure enough to actually engage.
Right. It's not about getting every single rule perfect or never mispronouncing a street name.
No, not at all. It's about having that baseline knowledge that frees you up. Frees you up to ask a local where their favorite pizza place is or, share a quick laugh with a street vendor.
Those moments of real human connection, that's the value. And that happens when you approach the city with curiosity, not anxiety about making a mistake or spending an extra dollar accidentally.
The knowledge we've shared, it's like the key. It unlocks the door to seeing the city with open eyes, an open mind.
Use the confidence you get from knowing these practical things.
To actively seek out those deeper, more authentic experiences. Go find something unexpected.
So here's the final thought for you to take away.
Yeah.
How can you use this practical mechanical knowledge we've talked about, not just to avoid mistakes, but actually to build the confidence to step off that well-trodden tourist path and really explore New York with genuine curiosity?
Go find your New York.
Until next time, keep digging deeper.